Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another week of talking about live streaming. I am back. I'm here. I'm trying to get a hold of everything that's going on. But yeah, welcome. If you have a question, start your message with the letter Q. It filters it on my screen a little bit easier to see. Otherwise, we're going to just start talking and see what happens. I have no plan for the stream. I did not have any time to do anything to actually prepare, with one exception. I did actually turn on the Stream Deck Studio from Elgato. They sent this over a couple weeks ago. I haven't had a chance to actually do anything with it yet, except I plugged it in, turned it on, and it's connected to Companion. It's super cool. It was very easy. So that's fun. So we can play around with that. I've literally like barely touched it so far at all. One thing I did do with it, let me see if I can get this camera to go closer. Yeah, there we go. I have my little PTZ head for my rear camera. Now you can see it better. It has this NFC feature, which is like supposed to be used to like lock it out, but you can also do stuff with it with Companion, which is kind of cool. So I have it set to just show me the ID of the card that it reads, and I have all these hotel keys from times that I forgot to return the keys. And now you can just swipe the NFC and see the number change. Oops, why isn't this one working? That one doesn't work. Let's try that one. There we go. So I could automate things on it, like use it to switch cameras or switch pages. So I'm trying to think of what I could do with the hotel keys. Also, does anybody notice how much this looks like John's Here to Record logo? I thought that was funny. Is it connected to Companion over the network? Yeah, so all I did was gave it one connection. It has a single wire going into it, just power over Ethernet, powering it, putting it on the network. It got an IP address on the network, and then it just showed up in Companion. So there was I did have to update Companion, of course, but then if you go over to Surfaces, there's this remote surface section, and it actually just found it on the network. So, or if you know the IP address, you can type it in, and then it shows up, and it works just like any other surface. So this is the page that I made for it, which has 17 wide buttons. It's a little bit confusing managing stream decks of different shapes because I have to have the 4 rows for the XL, but I need 17, or it's actually 16 wide. And so I can only use the first 2 rows of buttons on pages for the studio, Stream Deck Studio. So I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to actually manage that yet, but it'll be fun to figure out. Why do I collect hotel keys? I don't collect them intentionally. I just sometimes forget to return the key when I check out of a hotel, and then I toss them in a drawer when I get home. So, the other fun thing that works is the little NFC tag stickers. So you can just get like rolls of these, and they're just little stickers about the size of like a quarter. And then these also just have an ID that shows up. So I can stick these to other objects. That one's like, I think only the first couple numbers are different. Yeah, it's weird. It's like the first couple numbers are different on those. But I could stick these to other objects. Like, I'm trying to think like, if I wanted to make a page for controlling like, what is it? Let's see what I could do. Let's say I made a page for hyperdecks. I could like, well, that's, I need like what's a good thing I could stick this to? SD cards come to mind. Maybe I could stick it to a hard drive, and so I could take a drive, put a sticker on it, and then I'm like, okay, so I'm ready to record a video today. So then what I can do is grab this drive, swipe it there, and then this can jump to another page that I would be using to record. So if I went into companion, let's say I make page 97 for recording, and that might be things like I might have a preset for this already. Let's see. I should have. Oh, why are there no hyperdeck presets? Interesting. So let's make a button that's like record. Actually, I think I already have one. Let me find it. That'll be easier. This one, this button. So let's put that on page 97. Put it there. Hyperdeck Mini, and then it shows me the recording time, which is useful. And then let's do some camera buttons here. So let's go grab my main buttons here. So I like to do this when I'm using Companion, where I have like only the buttons that I know I'm going to be using for a certain action of like, okay, I'm going to be recording a video, so I'm going to only put the camera angles that I would use when I'm recording a video. So that would be like, you know, my different cameras around this desk in maybe a different layout than I would be doing for streaming, because I wouldn't use like, I don't use the super source button or layout when I'm recording. Usually don't use the Apple TV, things like that. So then, okay, this is like a really minimal version of a page, but point is, once I build that out, what I could do is go into the triggers here. So let's make sure that's recorded. And then let's go look at the variable. So what you can do is in surfaces in the Stream Deck Studio, you can say variable to store the last read NFC tag. So I made a custom variable in Companion. I just created this custom variable. This is the current value of it, which is from this tag that I just swiped. But if I like swipe a different hotel card, you'll see it change. It should change in the website. There it goes. So let me swipe the drive again. Oops, that's hard to get in the right spot. That sticker is not in a good spot. Put it on the corner of the drive. Let's see if that works better. Oh no, it's not working. I wonder if the actual drive itself is interfering with the NFC. Yeah, weird. Okay, so my experiment of attaching this to a drive is not going to work. Darn. I need something probably with less metal in it to do that. Okay, so let's do an SD card instead. Oh, it's slightly larger than the card. Okay, so I have to find a smaller sticker, but that'll work. Okay, so I've got that in Companion. I've got I can read the value here, but the thing that makes this work is when the variable is this, I can make it go to a page, and I can make it go to that page 97. So now if I go to where is my too many things around here. Okay, so now if I tap this SD card on the Stream Deck, it changes page to my recording page. So I could have little physical cards or physical objects that are like bookmarks for jumping to certain pages, which I think is pretty cool. Of course, I could also make it do any other action when it detects certain tags, because I could do actually start recording or change the hyperdeck to record to SD card or over the network, for example, things like that. Kind of fun. Is Sunday is set to no? What was that? I have a variable custom is, oh, so I wonder why that is set to no. I think I was doing it with, this was when I was automating the stream. I think I just deleted the action that did that. Yeah, I think I didn't need that anymore. Oh, wait. Events, time of day. This might be daylight savings, a daylight savings issue. So this is supposed to, yeah, this is a daylight savings problem. This should be 18 now. So now at 6 p.m. Oh, it's daylight savings and I move my stream back. This is old. This is why. So what this is supposed to do is at, I think it was like actually supposed to be like an hour before my stream, toggle the variable to say it's Sunday and then turn it off later. And then I use that variable for something. I can't remember what I used it for now. Anyway, what I ended up doing was scripting my show one week where I just made triggers for 10 minutes before we started the pre-roll, which is I pressed this pre-roll button. 7 minutes before, actually pressed the go live button, which I think now moved because this is old. Then I had hit show map, then I hit start show, and this actually started playing back a recording from a hyperdeck because I had recorded my show ahead of time because I was gone and gone 1 week. And then the entire thing was just completely automated, but it was actually live. So I, like at one point I think it was, yeah, at one point I cut to the shot of the empty room for like 30 seconds. And that was like, that way you could see the actual live room with everything in it and the gear active, which I thought was pretty cool. And that was different than using like, it's actually live as opposed to using YouTube's like broadcast a recording, what do they call it? Premiere. I thought this was cooler because nobody could tell, like there's no way to tell that it was recorded other than I wasn't able to actually respond to comments, but yeah. I get the idea of every user having their own preset, for example, but in general, with just a few RFID tags, why not put buttons on the panel you press instead of holding something up to the panel? Well, one reason is and I run into this on my main Stream Deck, which has the same number of buttons. So this one has 4, 8, 12, 16, so it's 32 buttons. And the Stream Deck XL also has 32 buttons. They're just arranged in 4 rows instead of this one being over there. And I do run out of buttons on this pretty quick when I'm creating pages. And I have to leave, I can't use these buttons for anything else because these are how I navigate. So I essentially lose 3 buttons on a page because I need these in order to change pages. So that was my thought, is like, if I use tags, then it means I can actually keep all the buttons available and I don't lose a button. So obviously it's like, I think turning a knob might be another good way to change pages if I can figure out how to do that. So I can flip through pages really quick by doing that. But I do think, oh, something happened. I wonder what I did. Oh, I'm not sure what I did. Yeah, so I think it's just an interesting affordance. What am I planning on doing with it? Well, first I'm going to just keep testing it out and try to figure out what I can do with it and learn some things and then make some videos about it. I don't know what it's going to end up doing more permanently here, so we will see about that. Okay, I'm getting behind in the chat already. Reminder: if you have a question, start your message with Q. Otherwise, it's going to get lost in the scroll back once we get going. It's the adult version of collecting concert tickets. Yeah, it would have been kind of fun to actually properly collect all the hotel tickets that I've had, but oh well. Um, Here's a question from earlier. How can I monitor my audio with the ATEM Television Studio HD8? Okay, so I've never actually used that particular ATEM, but so let me go check really quick what we see on it. HD8 is this guy. Only seen it at NAB. Do they really not have a headphone jack on this? I could have sworn this one did. Let's look at the back. Somewhere they have a picture of the back. I thought they had a picture of the back. There it is. If they don't have, okay, they have analog audio out, 4 jacks, really hard to read the labels. 4 1/4-inch analog, so that's not a headphone jack. They do have the XLR talkback, so you can get a headset to monitor that way. The sort of the other way that you can do this with anything when there isn't a proper headphone jack is monitor from a monitor from a monitor. Use an actual external monitor for it. So like this this little monitor is connected to the RØDECaster video right now. The RØDECaster video has a headphone jack, so you don't need it here. But this was a really common thing I was doing with the ATEM minis is run the HDMI into the monitor, and then this has a headphone jack on it, so you can grab audio from there. The other nice thing about that is like you make sure that it's your real live audio going out, because whatever you're seeing on the monitor is the HDMI out of the device, so it's like a way to be more confident about what that audio is. So I think that's kind of the easy way to use like regular headphones. Otherwise, yeah, you're gonna need like a proper headset that you would use for also talking back into it. The 5-pin headset. Yeah. Matthias says, is there a way to do video files audio in DaVinci Resolve for editing podcast recordings? Gosh, you know, I feel like maybe it was Final Cut that did this. I know somebody has there's a plugin for one of them. I would look for a plugin for it. I don't think there's anything built into it, but I know I've seen plugins for, I can't remember if it was Resolve or if it was another one, but that will do that auto cutting. Matt says hello from Nashville, running late. Had to work last night. Oh, fun. Stream Deck Studio is cool, but wow, it's pricey. It is pricey, but it's yeah, I think it's like $900 or something. Let me see if I can find. I should have made a link to it already. That would have been smart, because then it also would have shown up in my index of timestamps. Well, let's go. Yeah, okay, it's 900 on B&H. Let me just go make a link to that right now. So just drop that link in the chat. Yeah, it is pricey. I think the it's definitely aimed at a different market than a regular Stream Deck, obviously. One of the coolest things about it, though, is that like it connects to Companion directly. It's obviously made for its own the separate software, but I'm most excited about using it with Companion. But I don't need a Raspberry Pi behind like a USB port on a Raspberry Pi to connect to this. I can run it. I can just connect it to whatever Companion's already running, and it is. Yeah, it's nice. It's solid. It's PoE, so it just saves cables, saves wiring. It's so far I'm impressed. But definitely is a bit pricey. Clear Life Media did a boxing broadcast last night. Had 200,000 people tune in. Made the hashtag no buffering. Wow, that is a chunk of an audience. Congrats. So I'm gonna have a keychain of tags for actions. Maybe, yeah. We'll see. We'll see what I end up when I'm doing with the NFC. I just thought it was a fun little trick to do. A lot of us do not throw away the 3 buttons for page navigation, instead opting for a menu page approach with 1 button on each page. It takes you back to the menu. I guess I could do it that way. It feels riskier, I guess, but I do already kind of have a that with my main page being like mostly a launcher to other pages. So most of these, I think actually all of these, jump out to other pages. So I usually end up going back and forth from this page to my main show page, and then I press that button to go back to the main menu. So maybe I could do that, take over this button instead, and it just makes me nervous because then it's much slower to if I don't have everything exactly properly set up, it's harder to kind of navigate and get around if I make mistakes. Any new updates planned with your chat plugin for what's SPX? I don't know what SPX is, or H2R graphics. I did see H2R graphics added a new feature, which is custom HTML options. I don't know if it's up on the website yet, but yeah, that's interesting. I haven't tested yet to see if my chat plugin works in that. That would be a good thing to test. But no, I don't have anything planned. But if you have any ideas, let me know. With the new Rode video, how have you found the wireless mic integration? Pretty seamless. It's actually been really nice to be able to pair the mics directly and not eat up a slot or a wire, not use wires. It is just with the Rode mics, so it doesn't work with anything except the Rode Wireless Pro. I think it's the latest gen of the small mics, and then the interview mic also, which is cool. But yeah, it's nice. I think it was a smart feature. Is it possible to use the Raspberry Pi user companion to also use it to join a Zoom room? I want to have an additional viewing monitor with the Zoom gallery mode open. Maybe a Raspberry Pi 5. Probably. Companion doesn't take up too many resources, so generally you should be able to do other things with it. I would be more worried about it being able to handle Zoom at all, whether or not Companion is running on it. So test that first. I haven't done too much with the Raspberry Pi 5 yet. I booted up somewhere and did a couple quick little things with it, but I haven't tried running Zoom on it. I would just test that first, and if that works fine, it'll probably also handle running Companion at the same time. So, yeah. What additional features are in the new software built specifically for the new Stream Deck compared to the standard Companion? So the new software. Let me see if I can find the website for it. It is. I haven't played around with the new software at all. It is completely different from Companion. So it is called Buttons. It is called Broadcast Control and Routing. The software works totally differently. I mean, I guess it's kind of similar to Companion, but like, I don't know what they have in mind for dynamic routing, but that sounds cool. This is the NFC thing to lock out pages unless you have an NFC tag. So that's actually really useful for like if you have um, operators that are going to be doing certain things with your control surface, and then you want to go in and like make special pages that have more like admin features or things that like starting or stopping the stream, then you could tap it to unlock that page, that kind of thing. It's got more like security features like that, I guess. Yeah, so this is the new software. This is made specifically for the Stream Deck Studio. This is not open source. This is like their pro thing, and it is. Oh yeah, they have a free beta, so I could play around with this right now. But they have like limited by number of surfaces. You need to upgrade to this one to get the pin protected and RFID protected pages. So this is like the pro thing, but they did say that they're going to keep Companion's open source, so it's a community thing and it's going to keep working. And they've already done a good integration with the Stream Deck Studio with Companion. I'm mostly still interested in Companion with it, but I should at least play around with the new software a little bit. Forget the Raspberry Pi, just get a new Mac Mini. Yeah. Or an Orange Pi 5 Plus. The new Raspberry Pi 5 doesn't even have hardware encoding for HEVC. Yeah. Or a used M1, they dropped in price. No, I know the new M4 Mini is so tiny. I'm very tempted to get one. I don't really need it. I don't really need another computer in here, though. RFID tag reading is in the new Stream Deck, Sven says, but it works in Companion. Yeah, so what Companion does with the RFID is just put the ID of the tag into a variable, but it doesn't have any of the like locking out pages. So every page in Companion is accessible to any device connected to it. There's no like way to prevent that. But the new software does have features to actually like prevent pages from being accessed unless you present the right card. So that's totally different. But what you can do with Companion is at least read the ID of cards and then do actions based on that. So you can do triggers when that variable changes and basically do any action that the Companion can do can be now triggered from an NFC tag. But that's very different than like locking out pages and things. Gwen says MKBHD says the base model Mac Mini M4 is a great deal. Not as much if you start adding upgrades like more memory. I haven't even looked at the pricing yet. I've been so out of the loop on everything lately. I've just been way too much going on. Let's look at the pricing. Mac Mini, cute. Pirate flag, okay. Base model, $600. That is a fantastic price. Wait, what do we get? Not very much SSD. I did regret a drive that small on the M1 that I got. I would probably go with a minimum of 512 just because there's just so much stuff that ends up on the main OS drive, especially once you start installing like Adobe anything. I would probably start there. So I would really consider this to be the base. How much more can you go? Let's see. So $200 more memory, more $200 for more storage, 10 gig Ethernet. If you're going to go 24 gigs, might as well go 32. $1,500. Yeah, I see. It's not quite a great deal anymore, but the base model is 600, but it's just such a small drive. I feel like I made that mistake once. I don't want to make it again. Matt says I got the new Mini Pro M4 to replace my aging iMac Pro, the last of the Intel Macs. Oh wow, that's an old one. That's gonna be a great bump. The Mac Mini isn't too hard to upgrade the storage after the fact. I thought it was soldered in. Is that not the case? Because I know it's soldered on the laptops, but maybe it's not actually soldered in on the Mini. In which case, yeah, do the replace the drive later. Andrew says AutoCut and AutoPod are two auto cutting programs that work on Premiere and now Resolve. Both work pretty well. Cool. Thanks for that. That's what I was looking for. I knew there was a extension for it. If you're going to expand storage memory on the M4 Mac Mini, the M4 Mac Mini Pro is a better option. Oh yeah, okay. That's always fun to figure out the differences between those. The oh, the Pro is the one that's down there, starting with 24 gigs, 512 SSD for 1400. That is a better deal. I feel like that wasn't that much more than when we added RAM to the other one. So yeah. Anyway, I'm sure these are all great. So yeah. You can upgrade the SSD, but you need to get deep into the components. Probably not gonna honor the warranty on that at that point then. It's soldered in, but there's somebody that already replaced the chip. Serious solder skills needed. Okay, yeah, no thanks. Yeah. Any wireless video transmitters accept UVC input to send OP3 video some distance through walls with as little gear batteries as possible. I've never seen a video transmitter with a UVC input, so at that point, there's that little OBSPOT and RGB link UVC to HDMI thing, which would work with any of the wireless transmitters. That's not gonna be cheap once you add that plus a transmitter though. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you want the large internal SSDs to keep your mobile system clean and easy to set up, and the peace of mind of knowing if you pull a drive, you aren't pulling the record drive. Oh, yeah, that's true too. If you're recording to a drive, I did end up regretting the 256 drive that I got on the M1, the first M1 laptop and Mac Mini. So I would at least recommend 512 as a minimum. Now I have terabyte in both this Mac and my main laptop, and I don't really have to worry about storage anymore, which is great. Cool. Okay. Other fun news that I wanted to share is about Black Friday deals for PK1 stands and a brand new website, which is exciting. NX3D has been hard at work launching a new site for the PK1 products. And I just wanted to share it because I think it's very well done. Basically, this is now the actual store to buy things from. So you go to pk1.tv. I dropped an affiliate link in the chat. Clicking that is much appreciated. And now all the products are here, and you can actually just add to cart and check out on this website instead of going through the NX3D shop. So that's super cool. Much easier. And there's a Black Friday deal going on across everything on the site, which is, where did I see it? I saw the coupon code in a little sidebar at one point. There is a code you enter for the Black Friday deals, which is, I think it was BF 2024. There it is. Black November, not Black Friday. Yeah, it's a little bit longer than just Friday at this point. 30% off. Code BF 2024 at checkout. Great deal right now. So yeah, if you were thinking about any of these, this is a good time. This is the one for the Magewell Director Mini. So this is the little stand that tilts it up nicely. And if you did want to use any of the accessories, you can bolt them onto the back of the bar here. But this Director Mini is going got this fan on the back that means you can't lay it flat because it won't be able to cool off. So this helps a lot. And this is also true with the OBSBot Talent Kit, is the same hardware. So that just slips in there nicely. They also now have the new cute little cage for it, which I don't have yet. So I can't show you in person, but it's like a combo stand cage. If I go into this one, so you can tilt it up like a cage, give it a handle, but it has that angle on the back, so you can also let it sit on your desk. And then this one grips you can see how it's actually gripping over the front, so it'll actually hold it in. The little desktop stand that's here, this one, it just slips in, so like it's not actually gripping it, so it'll fall out if I turn it upside down, right? So this is for desktop use, but this new one they did is for if you want to actually mount it to things, because it's got this bar on the back, so you can actually like bolt that to things, put it on, hang it off of a stand somewhere. So that's really cool. Yeah, there's this is, oh yeah, so they're still working on the one for the RØDECaster video, but the Streamer X stand gives you a spot for a monitor on top. There's of course all the YoloBox stands, cages, lots of different ones. This is the one for the YoloBox Ultra, and this, I love that they did this, so it gives you a little kick out legs. So if you wanted to use it on your desk, you can tilt it, have it tilted on your desk, or you can flip those in and have it flat or as a cage mounting to things. And this one again is gripping the whole thing, so it's locked in there. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, so yeah, 30% off right now. Good time if you have been on the fence waiting for a discount. Emmanuel says, speaking of the PK1, I tried to buy a few things, but you only have options for USA cities through the site. It should give you options for worldwide. If not, I will make sure they fix that. They should be able to ship worldwide. So if that's the site, they just launched the site like last week. So if it's not letting you ship outside the US, it could just be a configuration bug. Oh, great. Index3D is confirming they do ship worldwide. Thanks, Noel, for the recommendation. Oh, good questions from GB Audio Video. How do I make my live stream setup easier for volunteers to operate and use? That is a very, very challenging question. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it. So, let me think. What would I say for this? It first of all depends a lot on what gear you're using in the first place. So, if you give somebody like a volunteer an ATEM of any size, they're going to make a mistake at some point. Like something's going to get messed up and they won't know how to fix it, guaranteed. It's complicated to actually train on how to use an ATEM for someone who's not going to be doing it like all the time. So for that, one way you can smooth things out for volunteers is by using Companion and setting up presets and macros and automations on the Stream Deck so that they have less options, so that there's less ways they can mess things up. So I mean, this is true just even for like, me. I like to create these pages where I only have access to the buttons I actually need to press during a show versus running my show from this where there's just too many buttons, right? So that is, I think that's probably the best, first, easiest thing you can do for volunteers, regardless of what hardware you're using. But it's especially true on the ATEM, is create a page of buttons with only the things that they actually need. So that would be things like camera angles. If you do have picture in picture, that's where things can start getting kind of messy on the ATEMs. Bringing that in and making sure it gets removed when they cut to other angles. So doing that in a Stream Deck can help a lot. One of the classic problems with the ATEM is if you end up with gosh, what is my upstream one? So that should be a little, oh, it's for the phone layout. So if I have this on air, but I have this button pressed, then as soon as I press cut or auto, it's going to, now if I if I remember correctly, let me switch between, let me queue up my main. See, I can't even find my camera buttons on here. This is this is why I have a Stream Deck. Okay, overhead camera, there we go. So if I press cut, it took it off because that button is pressed, but if that's not pressed, then it stays on. That is really hard to explain to someone who doesn't understand anything about how the video switchers work. And it's also a really common source of glitches where your keys, your little picture-in-picture things get stuck on because this thing got toggled somehow when it wasn't supposed to. But yeah, so if you do this in Companion, then you can make it so that I don't have it on this, but I probably should. I think I did this for Lily's Companion. So if I go over to hers, yeah. So her main camera button, not only does it set the input to the camera, it also turns on the microphone and turns off upstream key. And that's because if she's in like this mode where it's using the upstream key for the picture in picture and then cuts back to the camera, you don't want the upstream key on anymore. And depending on what other things have happened in the meantime, sometimes it gets stuck, right? So this way it just turns off the upstream key. So you can do this with Companion, but this is much harder to do in an ATEM directly, and certainly much harder to explain to somebody. So definitely Companion is probably the biggest tip for making the live streams easier for volunteers to use. But the other thing is just going to be what device you're actually streaming with in the first place, because there are a huge range of difficulties of getting things up and running. I do think the RØDECaster video has done a very good job of limiting the number of buttons on the device to things that are actually useful. So if I give this to someone, to a volunteer, I can tell them pretty quickly, like, don't press any of these, just use the scene buttons and use these, and they correspond to what they see on the screen. So they see like the preview of, oh, you want to go to this side-by-side view, so that's button A, right? That's pretty straightforward to explain. I feel like I can explain this much faster than I can explain an ATEM. So that will also depend on or affect how easy it is to get volunteers to use it. It's a challenging topic, though, for sure. I was doing a fair bit of this with the Donut.js meetup when I started traveling a bunch and I couldn't go and actually film myself anymore. I was creating instruction sheets for how volunteers could film. And that was, I found that this was pre-ATEM Mini, before the ATEM Mini was even out. But I found the easiest one to explain to people was actually the Sling Studio. And I would not recommend that anymore because it's effectively dead at this point. But it was the easiest one where I could write out a list of instructions and tell people how to do it. And they had good success. Automation with Companion, safety shot. For example, when in doubt, press this button, cover the fade to black button, audio on and off button indicator. Yeah. Having a safety button is a great idea. And what I would do with that is, like I was showing, make a button that's going to cut to like your wide shot where it's like, you know, your wide shot of the whole room where it doesn't matter. You're not going to be showing a close up of a blank area of stage or something. And the so make it cut to that, make it turn on your main audio feed, turn off all the keys, turn off all the downstream keys, and that way, like if anything goes wrong with the stream, you can tell people just like push that button and it'll like reset everything and go to a safety shot, and then you can go and go back into the show. Oh, great. Follow up from your question. I just ordered a Stream Deck. Currently, we use a Roland V60 HD and PTZ optics. The Stream Deck is compatible with both of those. Great. I absolutely recommend diving into Companion and setting up everything for that. I'm a bit on the fence between a normal size Stream Deck and an XL version. Hard to know exactly how many buttons I need because I probably add to it over time. What are your thoughts? I very quickly stopped using the small Stream Deck because I just ran out of space on it too quick. This was also true for Lily's show, which is much simpler than much less camera angles than mine. But even with hers, we filled up the small Stream Deck pretty fast and upgraded her to a bigger one. So like even if I just look at her main page, there's like, she only has, she has main camera, overhead camera, and then donut shop camera. It's on the floor pointing at the donut shop for the cats. Those are the main cameras. And then there's the Apple TV so she can screen share her computer screen. So really only 4 video sources. And then the chat comes in, so it's an ATEM Mini Extreme. So chat is taking up one of the slots, one of the HDMI inputs. But even just with only like 4, there's already a bunch of different combinations of how she uses those. So there's the main camera, if she wants Apple TV full screen, if she wants her, this is, I think, yeah, a super source layout with the Apple TV. I should have made a little thumbnail like I did for this one. This is a super source layout of her face with the overhead camera next to it. Here's a picture-in-picture with her face on top of the overhead camera. Here's just the overhead. Here's a split with the cats and the overhead camera. There's just a lot of, like, this is already more buttons than would fit on the small Stream Deck. So it was really nice to expand to fill this. And that's just this page. Then we have like her timer to start the show. This one would fit on a regular Stream Deck. This one, I think we never actually expanded from the original Stream Deck. So this was the size of the small Stream Deck. And part of the reason there's only this many donut ratings instead of 0.5s to the rest is because there weren't enough buttons on the Stream Deck. So I guess I could now expand. I think she needs a 4.5. She does end up rating donuts 4.5 pretty often. So yeah, I would recommend just get the bigger one. I think you're going to fill up a small one too fast. Oh yeah, here's the small Stream Deck, trying to cram everything into the small Stream Deck space. It's just not quite enough space for most things. Okay, great. Wow, more questions coming in. Luis says, good afternoon, watching from Brazil. Follow your streaming tips and equipment reviews. Thanks for watching. Good to have you here. Face, exclamation, exclamation. I got an original ATEM television studio online. Is it still usable to live stream? Oh, no way. Wait, original, like this one? This original? I haven't plugged this one in a while. I should. It'd be kind of fun. It's approaching the vintage age now. I think it has officially crossed the 10-year mark since I've had this. It should work fine. The problem with this is that it doesn't do 1080p. It only does 1080i interlaced. So it'll do 720p or 1080 interlaced, which is, in my opinion, not super useful for live streaming these days. So it should work fine, but yes, it is that one. Yeah, I mean it'll work, but it's going to be interlaced, which is weird. Now, doesn't make any sense online. So, but yeah, it's. I should turn mine on. I think it's about time. Good to hear everyone's feedback. XL it is. Okay, great. Did you get a bunch of? Oh, I haven't scrolled down to the chat. Get the XL, you'll use it. Yeah, I think so. Bravo Tech and Drone Solutions says, will this switcher support the USB-C to HDMI cameras without needing UVC converters? If not, do you know of a switcher that does support USB-C to HDMI cameras? Wait, USB-C to HDMI cameras. What does USB-C to HDMI camera mean? Some cameras have a USB-C like webcam out. Also, which switcher are you talking about? So the RØDECaster Video does have USB inputs for webcams, but it only supports raw certain types of UVC sources. So some of the webcams I've tried don't work with it, and I don't know, like, I haven't made a full list of ones that do work with it. The Magewell Director Mini supports a lot more webcams in over USB. They have pretty good luck connecting random things to this. Things like the OBSBot cameras or the DJI Pocket 3, things like that. I haven't actually tried any like mirrorless cameras over webcam mode. But those two do. ATEMs don't have webcam video input. Yeah. I have an issue with my ATEM Mini Extreme. When it powers on, the microphone one button stays lit permanently. I've tried resetting it multiple times and installing different software versions. I'm afraid Blackmagic support might not be willing to address this. In the past, they refused to repair output one on another ATEM Mini Extreme. I think I think that means it's like it needs to get actual firmware flash reset. Blackmagic support should be able to help you with that, so I would recommend doing that. If it just stays lit permanently, I assume that means it also doesn't work. I think that's like its indicator that it needs new firmware. So ask them, like, show them that, send them a picture of what it's doing. I think they would be able to help you with that. It doesn't sound like it's a hardware repair issue. I think it's just going to be a firmware flashing issue. So is the regular Stream Deck better or the Studio? I mean, it depends on what you're doing, right? The cost difference is huge, first of all, so keep that in mind. This is USB, so you plug this into a computer or a Raspberry Pi. But this one is, network PoE in a rack form. So obviously, like, I have it sitting up here because I don't have any spots left in my rack. And even if I did, it's actually kind of far to reach here. So I don't think it would make a lot of sense the way I have these racks set up. If I didn't need this desk space in front of me for this gear, I might have these closer and then it would be fine. The other thing I've been thinking about is, what if I put this here? Like, you can kind of see, does my overhead shot? No. Right at the edge of the table, so that I always have these buttons here, but it's also kind of a weird angle. So it depends on what you're doing with it, because I think there's scenarios where the desktop form factor makes more sense versus the rack form factor, but the rack form factor is super useful for if you're building out racks of gear. They both absolutely have their place. And then, of course, these have the knobs too, which is cool, and the NFC. I think they're just different. They're just different. I noticed that you use the preview monitor as an output in itself. I like this idea for what I was planning, because it's like having two switchers in one, but do you miss not having a preview? Wait, preview monitor as an output. Oh, I don't. So on my ATEMs, I don't use the preview feature really. If I'm doing my own stream, like a stream of myself, the preview is, I have not found it necessary. And it just adds complications. So I like all of my buttons on the Stream Deck are like they're just do that now. It's not put it into preview and then do a cut. So it's yeah, these are just like cut program, cut immediately. Um, if I'm doing a show of something else, like where I'm not on camera, I have more time to like think about the shots and think about what's happening next. And then I do like having the preview. So and then I will actually use the preview to put things there, test out the key, the positioning of the super source or the upstream key, things like that. So it's just because I'm on camera during this stream that I don't use the preview. Okay, I'm trying to get trying to get through the questions here. Uh, oh, Matt says off-topic question. I want to play around with 3D printing next year. So, what printer for a total novice? Not at all concerned with the price. Good question. So, um, Greg, Gregor. Oh, um, Bamboo Lab have fast printers if being closed source. Closed source is not a concern. Um, I have also heard very good things about Bamboo. So the first printer I got was the Prusa Mini, um, and I'm still super happy with it. It's been great. It is it was very easy to get going. I got the mostly assembled version, so it showed up mostly ready to go. Um, I still like it a lot. It's been great. I have not had too much to do too much maintenance on it. Um, Certainly not the horror stories I've heard of with other printers. So that's been great. However, this was many years ago that I got this. I have now been hearing really good things about the Bamboo printers. Um, and these what's their entry level one? This is the entry level one. It's cheaper than the Prusa Mini. I don't think the $200 one has multicolor. Um, but you can get the multicolor add-on for that, which is cool. I haven't done multicolor printing yet. But I've heard very good things about this one. And a lot of people who like it a lot as a good intro printer. And it's cheap, which is nice. And it seems like they do a lot of the, like, similar to Prusa, where it's like they provide they provide filaments, they provide software, so you can really just like stay in that ecosystem and have it all work well. So I might recommend going to this. Oh yeah, $200 for the single color, $349 for the color multicolor add-on, which is still extremely affordable. I feel like. That would be my recommendation. I've heard enough people who I trust recommend this one at this point. I don't have any space left in my room right now to get one, but when I am able to move, I don't know, my bicycles out of the studio, I will, and trailers and things, I will have more room in here to, and then I might actually get another printer. Because I am curious about doing multicolor prints. That sounds like a lot of fun. Index3D would not recommend the Bamboo. Oh no! Well, you're throwing a wrench into my winning streak of everybody who I know who uses printers recommending it. Like I said, I haven't used it, so I don't know other than what I've heard from people. So, good data point. Especially for multicolor. Oh no. Well, I definitely believe your recommendation. Yeah. Well, we will see. Yeah. My you do know a thing or two about 3D printing. How about a Creality Ender 3? I also have never used that one. I feel like I've heard from someone that they just spent a lot of time with maintenance on it. So I'm not sure how confident I am on that. Too much waste for multicolor. Why does it generate waste? I thought it would. I multicolor printing, I feel like, is the next thing I want to try. I've already done some multicolor prints manually, but it's really limited what you can do, because you really can just do layer by layer when you're doing it manually. But I've added like I don't think I have one here, but I have this little thing that I made, the SD card holder, where these things, the SD cards slide in and it kind of grips it and holds it in place. And I've got a slot for the micros on the side, although those don't work quite as well. But I printed this for as a gift for someone, and I printed the bottom part up until basically up until the base here in one color, and then the rest in another color, and it meant that the text was a lot more visible because the bottom of the text was the base color. But but that's the extent of multicolor. Just layer half and half, essentially. So very, very limiting without a proper multicolor thing. Michael says, I do like my Ender 3, but your first 5 prints will be tools and attachments to make it more usable. I mean, that's not necessarily bad. Okay, let me get back to the questions. Tim says, GoStream OC deck. Any suggestions for budget audio mixer, travel plus wireless mics, best for the money? I haven't bought too many audio mixers in a long time. Mostly what I've been doing is wireless mics directly into cameras or into the GoStream. I still like the Rode dual mic kit. The DJI dual mic kit is fine too. But there's on audio mixers, there's like tons now that are super cheap. So I have not even like begun to do any research on that, just because I don't have a lot of reason to do that. So for budget, like you can get like $60 audio mixers, right? That have just analog mixers. Some of them have a digital out also. Not that it helps you with the GoStream, but that's budget. And yeah, Andre is saying RØDECaster Duo for the mixer. So this one is the one that they sent me over, and I was playing around for a little while, and then I haven't had a chance to play around with it much lately because I've been traveling too much. This thing is amazing. Highly recommend the RØDECaster Duo. It's not cheap, but it's great. It has a lot of good features. If budget is not too much of a concern, being able to pair wireless mics with this is just like the RØDECaster Video is also super cool. But yeah, you can go out from this into the GoStream or anything else like that. So if you want featureful mixer, RØDECaster Duo is great. If you want budget, there's a million, and you can get them for under $100. Colored SD card holders could also be used on a long shoot to designate which cards you've used and not used. Oh yeah, that's a good point, for sure. I just deployed the Hollyland Lark Max for a client and I was super impressed. Oh yeah, that's a good one too. I haven't played around with that one too much yet, but it's a good little dual mic kit. They feel really nice too. They're nice and solid. Andrew says, I noticed on your AutoCut demo that there was one point where the RØDECaster video stayed on the wide shot for more than 15 seconds. How long do you think a wide shot should be? I don't know if I've thought about it in seconds before. Interesting question. I don't know. 15 seconds does feel pretty long, though. I would agree with that. Indiana Cornbread Nerd. That is a very specific channel. I love it. Director Mini versus RØDECaster Video for quick setups and portable streaming. I think the mic integration gives the Rode an edge up. Quick setup and portable streaming. I think, depending on what you mean by portable, yeah, the mic receiver built in does simplify the things a bit, because then you just have your mic and it's paired directly. There's the one thing I would say right now is, because the buttons on the RØDECaster Video are kind of like you can do most things with the buttons, especially once you get into this menu to configure things, but not everything is accessible over the buttons, which means you will at some point need to open up the Rode Central software to go in here to do things like some things you can only do in the scene builder, and some things are just easier to do in the scene builder. So that can be a factor, but whereas on the Director Mini, everything is on the screen, touchscreen. It has a computer interface, but the computer interface is more limited than the touchscreen. So that's something to keep in mind. I think the number of cameras that you're connecting is also something to keep in mind. The RØDECaster video is right now only HDMI in. I wouldn't be surprised if we get NDI input at some point on it, but right now it's HDMI in only. Whereas the Director Mini, you can bring in cameras like NDI or a wireless phone as a camera, so that's nice. And the SRT streams, RTMP streams, you can do a lot more types of video processing ingestion on the Director Mini, which can simplify things on portable setups. So think about all the things you're going to be connecting to it and want to connect to it, and then one might end up being better than the other for that. Don't forget to smash those buttons, like and subscribe. Thanks for the reminder, Eric. All right, let me see what else. Gwen says, I usually do timing of cuts by ear depending on the vibe of the event, what's happening on stage. Some shows I cut every less than a second, and others much longer intervals. Yeah, I think it totally depends on the vibe that you're going for sure. Are the video files audio plugins you mentioned for Resolve designed for post-production or for live switching? That's for post-production. So if you film a bunch of cameras, either with an ISO recorder or just in camera, and then dump them all into a timeline, the plugins will go and essentially create auto cuts for the different camera angles based on the audio levels, as if it had been done live. So, and then you can go back and tweak it, obviously, in the timeline, which is cool. Daniel Williams, football videos. What setup would you recommend for live streaming football, soccer, the real football, as one person walking around the edge of the pitch with the ability to expand to more cameras in the future? It depends on, I guess, I think it would depend on, is this going to be something where you can install stuff more or less permanently, or not? Because if you can, then I would start going to like treating it like building out a streaming kit for that field, and probably go with an ATEM, and just like treat it as like you're building up a studio. If it's more like you need to go to random fields all the time and film stuff going on, and you're starting with just one camera, then I would probably go more towards the like, what can you fit in a backpack kind of thing. So YoloBox or Magewell Director Mini would be probably where I would go with that, because then you can get really portable rigs that you could like throw all the gear into a backpack, set it up on a tripod, have that be your base station. The trick with adding cameras is wires. So if you're going for like, you can't run wires because you need to go to random places all the time, then you're going to do everything wireless. And probably at that point, I would start going with the wireless HDMI transmitters, like I have one here in the other side of the room, like the Hollyland or Cine Eye transmitters that give you a solid, high quality link between two points. Those work with any switcher, obviously, because they're HDMI out on the other end. So, but yeah, if you're able to like run wires, install things, then I would probably shift you more towards the ATEM or even actually at that point RØDECaster video could be a good option too. Bravo Tech and Drone Solutions. Clarification. I thought about buying an ATEM Mini Pro to run my 360 Link 2 using USB-C to HDMI cables, but a UVC converter is needed. Yeah, the USB-C to HDMI cables won't work for webcam to HDMI. You would need an actual UVC converter like that OBSBot one. I would not recommend going down this road, frankly. I think it's just gonna cost a lot of money and it's not gonna give you a good result. Like you lose the USB control of the Insta360 Link once you go through one of those converters anyway. So I would probably go. So 4 cameras is a lot, but the Director Mini can handle 2 webcams just fine. So you could plug in 2 of the Insta360s to that. Or you just go and use a computer at that point. Like use a computer, use OBS or vMix or something. Do you know if in a large auditorium the audio can reach the control room with some delay, for example, 3 or 4 frames? Could this delay occur when using the analog input on the ATEM 2? Generally, your analog audio wiring is going to have 0 delay. Like you're not going to add delay no matter how long that cable is. The ATEM does have a delay setting on the analog inputs. So if you are not expecting a delay and you're getting one, check that. Check that delay is not set. It is in the analog, in the audio input section. Oh, wait. I don't have it on this one. Let me go to the ATEM Mini. This is the one that's doing the stream. Oh my god! Of course, it's not in the settings. It's here. In the audio tab, you have your delay setting here. So this is set to 4 frames. This can go up to 8. I haven't had to do this in a while because I now run my delay through the mixer rather than the ATEM. But if you're getting a delay and you're not expecting one, check that. But if you have this set to 0, it's going to be not delayed no matter how long that cable is. David said the DJI wireless system that was recently released is a great option. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot they have a wireless transmitter now. Where is that? I wonder where that is. DJI Pro accessories. There it is. DJI. It's expensive though, if I remember correctly. 20,000 feet. That's a long distance. $2,500. Yeah, I'm sure this is great, but holy crap. Yeah, you can get like $600 ones that are also good. Not 20,000 feet and not. Now some of them do 4K or 1080 60. So you don't need to spend $2,500. That's a lot. Martin says, when using Zoom to stream via USB-C output on the ATEM Mini Pro, PowerPoint slides look pixelated. That's Zoom's problem, not the ATEM's problem. So Zoom does not give you a 1080 feed unless you have one of their higher tier plans and like talk to support. So if you have video going into Zoom, then Zoom is essentially scaling it down for on the other end. So you're going to see a high-res preview of yourself, of your video sending in, but they're going to be looking at a scaled down version. So yeah, it's always going to look pixelated. There's not really a way around that. So generally, if you are in Zoom, the best thing you can do is use Zoom's screen share function to actually, because the screen share will be at full res, high quality. It doesn't support as high of a frame rate, so you can't use it to like get around the 1080 limitations, but for slides, you don't need high frame rate, and that's the reason for it. You can, however, if you need to, you can use the screen share feature in Zoom, and instead of sharing a screen on your computer, share from a capture card. So if you are if you have an ATEM, not Mini Pro, but if you had like the ATEM Mini Extreme or any larger ATEM with 2ME or at least multiple aux outputs, you could always route the computer screen out one of the aux inputs into another capture card into your computer that's going to Zoom, so that you can stream, basically pulling two webcam feeds into Zoom. This is complicated to explain now that I'm saying this out loud without any pictures. Let me see if I can show you what I mean. I need to actually plug in another capture card, though, to do it properly. Let's do that. Let's do somewhere here. I have... Oh, not that one. No, wrong way. No. This one. Oh my gosh. So... So I just have a little capture card here, and I'm going to grab this HDMI cable. Is it long enough to reach? It's not long enough to reach. Shoot. Ah, it's so close. I need a 6-foot HDMI cable. This is going to be worth it, I swear. Grab a cable off of my cable tree. Okay, found my HDMI cable tree. I'm going to grab a video feed off of the rack. And run that into a capture card and plug that into my computer. So I think I need to show just the computer screen. Oh, geez. Tunnel vision. So I can't. Yeah. We just have to deal with tunnel vision. So in Zoom, this is a good example of it's going to be pixelated because I'm sharing my computer screen into Zoom. What I can't do this right. Okay. I need to output from patch for... Okay, that's my main camera. So if I go switch over to that capture card... that one doesn't work. Let's try this one. Some of the capture cards are just not good. Unless that was the wrong... There we go. Okay. So I've got my camera in Zoom now, and with the camera in Zoom, if I go share my screen, there's an option to share not my computer screen, but share a second camera. So this camera, oh, this is really awkward. There's no actual selector, like drop down, but if you only have 2 capture cards, it'll work well. If I toggle through all these, it will eventually, there it is. So this is my ATEM now. And so now it's confusing because do I have a way to solve this? Kind of. Okay, here's what I can do. ATEM ISO. Yes. Okay, so now I'm... Hang on. There we go. Okay, this is what I wanted. So in Zoom, the screen share is coming from my ATEM, and this is the Apple TV. So like I could screen share into my Apple TV or whatever, or it could just be an HDMI cable or whatever, right? The point is that in Zoom, there's actually two webcams. One is my camera, which is just off the screen, and one is my second output from my ATEM, and that is going to be shared at full resolution, full pixels, but low frame rate, which is great for screen sharing. I just wish they had this switch camera thing as a drop down, not a weird little toggle thing. Wait a second. I should be able to fix this. I should be able to say that is my computer screen. And then if I go, that's what I wanted to show you. Great. So this is my Zoom interface. My one output from this is the actual, this is the capture card. The second capture card is up on the top. And then the main ATEM USB out is here. And so essentially my computer sees two capture cards, and I'm able to pull in two different things into Zoom. One as the camera source for the video, and one as the screen share. But both of those are coming through the ATEM. So that way I can still do the show, record, ISO record or whatever in the ATEM, but give you something that actually makes more sense to look at in Zoom. And now I need to figure out how to roll this all back. There we go. Did I lose everyone? It's still low frame rate, so using the screen share as source for playing video would not be useful. Well, but there is a setting in Zoom for screen share, which is where is it? Oh, I think it's when you start the share. Yeah. So when you start the share, is this going to work? Yeah. When you start the share, there is a share sound and optimize for video sharing. So if you are playing back a video, then check that box, and then it'll get you back up to good frame rate. I don't know what their trade-off is between losing quality at that point to save bandwidth, but there is at least that setting so that if you are sharing a video being played from your ATEM, not just a slideshow, then it'll work. So, yeah. Yeah, even with the business account, you're not receiving 1080 on the receiving end. It's Zoom is not a HD video broadcast platform. It is a video conferencing platform. So the best you can do is just like use it the way that it wants to be used so that it's not incorrectly optimizing and scaling. Manuel says the issue for international purchases was fixed through chat, and I made my first purchase of 3 stands: OC Duet, ATEM Mini Pro Streamer, X stands. Can't wait to use them. Awesome, glad to hear it. Glad we got that sorted out. What's the cheapest good quality PTZ camera that the OBSBot Tail Air isn't good enough and I have a country church to install and it's a one-man band? I don't know. The OBSBot Tail Air is definitely like a specialized PTZ. I would say it's cool that it has like a battery in it and things like that, but that means it's not necessarily the best for just installation in the corner of a room somewhere. I haven't done a lot of research on the range of PTZ cameras though. Oh, I see. IT Never Gets Old has a recommendation. Sub $400 AV Cans NDI camera, 20x zoom. Sub $400 is good for sure. 20x optical. I'd be really curious to see what that looks like. I suspect it's going to be not the quality that I would want. Nothing like this camera, probably, but it might be good enough. And that's a good price. So, because yeah, once you get to the quality that I want is only in like the Canon $3,000 P2Z, but that's a lot. Matt says, I rewatched the Four Friends in a Pro broadcast. That was a while ago. I think I may have set one up and all of us to have the Nano to make it work. That was a long time ago. Wow. Yeah, it seems too cheap to be any good, but I'll check it out. That's my thought with that. But it is a good price. CRN 300 and 500. What is that? That's the Canon. Yeah. Wait, see. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, this is, I'm sure, great. $2,400. And it comes in white. This picture is actually the picture quality from this one is solid, but it's a lot to spend. So it depends on what you're doing, I guess. Gwen says, I got the N500. Personally find the 300 image a little mushy. My $4,000 PTZ is good, but it's $4,000. Exactly. $4,500 new and big and heavy. Okay. IT never gets old, so I've deployed dozens of them in churches. They work well. That's the cheap one. I'm sure they're fine. And like, again, video is not nearly as important as the audio quality, especially for that kind of thing. So, I'm sure it's good enough, and that is a much better price. I should just get one. Oh, this is the one that, like, I'm pretty sure it's the one that's been like it's just been cloned a bunch, so every company makes, it's actually the same hardware resold as under a bunch of brand names. I hate this form factor, but whatever. 20x NDI HDMI SDI USB. Yeah, okay. It's on sale, so it's the same price as the no SDI version right now too. Should I just get one right now, and then we can compare? It'll come by next week, so I can do a stream next week with it. Gwen says, also my use cases are often low light, and bright light most cameras will probably do fine. Too many buttons. What was that in reference to? The CineView SE is better than the DJI SDR. The DJI transmission will be better, but it's mostly overkill. Yeah, I haven't tested the DJI one, actually. Oh, did I miss a 549 version of the DJI SDR? Did I just jump to, like, the Pro somehow? That's funny. DJI transmission versus DJI SDR transmission. This one's only $549. That's a much more reasonable price, in my opinion. I wonder what it's missing. Yeah. I don't know. Never tried that one yet. With a name like AV Cans, it's got to be good. Yeah, exactly. The ATEM switcher screen sharing issue. Oh, yeah, that was a lot of buttons. I'm tempted to just get that PTZ so we can test it out in here. Okay, what was I doing? Scrolling back through the chat here. Obviously not going to compare it to a $4,000 camera, but it is truly good enough for most church deployments, and lighting is always a key. Okay, I'm just going to do it. We're gonna get that in and try it next week, and then I can at least put it side by side with my camera here that has this, you know, bright light, good lighting, so we can compare it in a good lighting scenario. We'll try that. Oh yeah, I just looked over here and saw this that I forgot. This is my project over the holidays. Oh my god, so heavy. My project over the holidays is to digitize all of the 8mm videotapes from my family videos that go back now a very, very long time. This is the actual camera that one of the 3 or 4 cameras my family had. And I forgot how terrible these screens are. I turned it on yesterday and I was like, oh my god. Oh yeah, this is also the Sony memory stick. Remember this? 8 megabytes. That format died. So yeah, I've got the stack of videotapes that I need to get off of tapes and into digital form. Some of them are digital tapes, but I don't know if I want to go through the trouble of Firewire out into a computer capture app versus analog out into HDMI into the hyperdeck that I can use to record without a computer. So we'll see. Can you do 10, 20, 30, and 40 and 50-foot test recording? Wait, what does that mean? To show us during the stream. Probably find up close. Oh, like filming things at distances. I will try to do that. Yeah. It has a megapixel. Yeah, exactly. I do have the power supply for it. Thankfully, my parents managed to hold on to it somehow. So yeah, I've got this stack of tapes to go through. This is the 1988 to 1993 box, and then it just keeps going from there. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a good workflow for this because it's going to result in, like, the easiest thing for me to do is to put in a tape, connect it into the hyperdeck, into the switcher here, use the hyperdeck to record to the network drive so that I don't even have to deal with SD cards, and hit record, hit play on the camera, and then just come back in 2 hours. But that means that the whole tape will be one file, but there might be like a couple different things on it, so then I have to split it up later and edit those, and that's just like going to be a lot of work. So I'm trying to figure out what's the best. But I don't want to like necessarily have to watch all the tapes in real time as they're being recorded and split them up. So yeah. If possible, digital transfer is a must. Only some of the tapes are digital, so like only the newer tapes are digital anyway. Most of them are going to be analog. So the question is do I go to the trouble of hooking up the digital workflow for the digital tapes, or just dump those over analog also? There are agencies that will do it for you if you send them the tapes. There's so many tapes here, though. I don't know how much it's going to cost. I might look into it depending on how frustrated I get after I do a couple of these. I do think the video of your box cameras will be better quality for your fixed studio work, but churches on a budget is a different application. Oh, totally. I'm just curious what quality difference we'll see even in here with those. It is worth the effort to look for a computer with FireWire. So like I can get the Apple adapters to be able to get a FireWire connection to the Mac. It's just like I'm worried about the actual extra time it takes to deal with the computer capture software and that whole side of things. We'll see. We'll see. Digitize whole tapes and edit out the unused spaces after it's all done. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. My mom offered to help like categorize things, so um, maybe I can just give her a hard drive full of files, and then she can go back through and add timestamps, and then I can splice those up later. We'll see. Rafat says, what microphone are you using with the RØDECaster, and are you processing the audio solely on the RØDECaster or using additional software? I need to actually do more. You know what I should do at some point now that I'm like back here and have time to think again? I've just been traveling every week. It turns out is extremely stressful and does not leave a lot of room for even thinking about creative projects. So I have not had a chance to do anything lately, but back, I'm not traveling again until December, and it's only a 1-day trip, so I'm excited for that. But what I need to actually do is do more videos actually recorded on the RØDECaster video, as opposed to just videos of the RØDECaster video. And I should actually try to do a live stream with one. So maybe that'll be, I don't know, next week, maybe the week after. Maybe I can do a special midweek stream or something during the holiday week. But I think it'd be fun to do a stream actually with the RØDECaster video, not with the rest of the stuff. I'll probably run the cameras still through the rack here and like just pull out, like how I have here where I've pulled out copies of my cameras into the RØDECaster video, but actually stream with this and not use the rest of the gear to stream. I think it'd be a fun challenge. See what that's like. Yeah. So, but so far everything that I've done with this has been the just XLR mic directly into the RØDECaster video or wireless Rode mics directly into the RØDECaster video, no processing afterwards. Oh, I also have I need to now like go back and film this to finish off, but I've been working with Jonathan from Bike Portland on setting up his studio, and got him a RØDECaster video, and he has been off to the races. It's super fun to see. He now has a setup to film videos in his little shed, and has been doing great. This is 3 Sony ZV-E10s. So a wide shot and 2 close-ups using the RØDECaster auto switching, the 2 XLR mics running into the RØDECaster video, and this is all like permanently installed in the studio now, and it's he's just been off to the races filming stuff now. It's super cool. I went and like helped him get it all wired up, figure out what to buy. I actually recorded a little bit of interviews and stuff with him about that. Got a nice big light for the top of the room to light the whole space, and yeah, I'm like super impressed. He's just off filming content now. It's great. So I need to film the last bit of that video and chat with him again now that he's used it for a couple of weeks, and then actually put that together into a little video about it. I think it's I'm super excited. He's been very successful with it. It's good to see. Andre says, my RØDECaster video is coming tomorrow. Excellent. I think you will like it. Oh, the AV cans are PoE as well. That is also really good, yeah. Only if we had a 1080p streaming platform, but with invitations generated for attending individuals, a private stream with individual access credentials for attendees. Yeah, that's the main thing with Zoom's like webinars that you can do. That's really nice. Yeah, I mean, there are platforms like this. They just start getting really expensive too. Jeremiah says, how do I connect my Android phone to OC Ghost Stream Deck? Any app or software? So I don't have a video exactly about Android, but I do have a video about, I'll give you 2 links. One is I have a web page where I collect links to applications that have clean HDMI out, which is what you want. I only know of one Android app, but oh, I guess Blackmagic is on here, is on Android now too, so I'll add that to the list. The Blackmagic camera app is probably a good place to start. It's free, but what you need is an app that supports clean HDMI out from the camera. There's a bunch of good iOS apps. If anybody has Android app suggestions, put them in the chat or in the comments, and I'll add them to this webpage. And then you need some way to get that into your switcher. So HDMI cable is the easiest, but there are some wireless options too. And I do have a video about iPhone apps for this, but the concepts are all the same on with Android. So I'll link to that video as well. Wireless iPhone apps with an ATEM. Yeah, and Blackmagic. The Blackmagic camera app is on Android now, so that's probably the one I would recommend at this point. It's just called Blackmagic Camera, which is a very confusing name for an app. 100 minutes check. Okay. Oh wow. Yeah, it's been a while. Okay, we should probably wrap this up before we hit the 2-hour mark. Yes, we will do that. Okay. Yeah, I've got to get to filming something. I need to get some more videos out this week. But it's been a week. It's been a month. It's just been so much on the road. I'm looking forward to not getting on a plane for a while. A while ago, you mentioned having an Android phone to try stuff out. Have you been able to? I've been using it as my secondary phone now, but mostly just as phone stuff. I haven't tried too much video stuff with it, but I should really. I again just have not had a chance to do anything except travel. So yeah. Hopefully that'll change soon. Yeah, leave your recommendations for Android apps in the chat or the comments on this video. Probably would be better so I can go and pull them out later. But yeah, otherwise, thanks. Oh, Lyric's Broadcaster also has HDMI out. Interesting. I didn't know that one. Filmic Pro is on the list already. Yeah. Confusing name and difficult to find on their website. Yeah. I think just search the App Store, though. Okay, we are going to wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for the questions and the chat. And thanks to the extreme supporters of the channel, Larry, David, and Marcin. Your support is very much appreciated. And thanks to everybody else as well for being a channel member. If you are a channel member, make sure you click on the members section on YouTube down below and find the link there to the Discord. And then you can join the Discord. And we can keep on chatting throughout the week. Hopefully I'll be more online this week with less getting on planes. Always fun. All right. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, next week we should be back here, same time, same place. I think everybody has finished changing all their clocks around the world for winter now. So we should be at this consistent time now until the spring. So that'll be nice. At some point, maybe we'll get rid of daylight savings time. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, so same time, same place next week. Let me know if you want to do a stream with the RØDECaster video without using the rest of my gear. It'd be a fun challenge. And otherwise, I will see you all again next time. Yeah, have a great week, everybody. Bye.